Go check your knives now in the kitchen. Have a look down them. Hey, welcome back to the workshop. Thank you for clicking on another video of mine. Unless this is the first one, if this is the first one you're watching, you might want to go hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you here following. Also, if you could hit the like button, maybe even share and comment before you leave, that would be awesome. Now we're about to jump in to a knife that's sitting right here on the table. I'm not gonna show it right yet because it's so bad. You're gonna want to see this the restoration on this one. Before we jump to that, I want to show you guys a knife of my dad's design. Now, if you've been watching for a little bit now, you'll know that Dad has been up here for a little while working with me, helping me to turn out enough stock to meet your guys' orders. But a little while ago, I told Dad, with the next batch, why don't you pick out and design something completely of your own, and we'll work it through the batch. So he had to work searching up different pictures and doing a few sketches and putting some thoughts together. And what he put together through the materials we had here, and he looked through the bin of handle materials, and what he came up with, what he wanted, a full back-filed tang. He didn't skim. I guess he took this as his shot. A full back-filed polished tang there. Multi-part handle. Let's get you out here with some nice greenery in the background, make it a little more interesting. Polished flats he wanted there. The mosaic pins, we ordered them in special. He chose the red and white, so we chose, he wanted the mosaic pins with the red there. Like I said, he didn't skimp. Let's put this little beauty away right now. It is a beautiful knife. Really, really happy with it. Nice work. Let Dad know down in the comment section what you think of his design. Is it your taste? Is it not? Probably be too elaborate for some people, but let us know. We'd love to hear it. Now let's head back in the workshop there. Let's show you guys a real poor condition knife. Are you ready to see it? Because this is almost frightening, so you might want to prepare yourself. Look at that. This is an old Dexter. This belongs to an older lady, and she wanted to have it restored. Her son sent it in for her, and wow, I mean, gorgeous knife. I can imagine this would have been a beautiful knife when it started out, but look at the sharpening. I've never seen such a dramatic recurve as that. Now, just because some of you don't always recognize the problem, you're not big time knife people, let me show you guys. This is a little monster cleaver I have in production now, a new design I'm working up with. 3/16 spine. This hasn't gone through heat treat, it's just gone through rough grind. This one will be available eventually. Maybe I'll keep it for myself. I really love it. It's going to be one wicked meaty little cleaver. But when a knife is designed to work on a cutting board, you don't want any type of recurve. A recurve is an area where you can't access the board. So the entirety of this bevel, there's no recurve. We can contact the cutting board at every point. Now, this knife, this will never become an issue because we don't have a bolster. And I don't generally like bolsters on kitchen knives because I don't like having to address that problem. With a knife like this that has that bolster, that forged-in bolster, which is really nice, by the way, if you don't sharpen back off of the edge of your blade, look at what happens here. I mean, I can almost get my pinky finger under there. So a massive portion of this blade now becomes unusable. You see that? So this could have been avoided if from the time this knife had been started sharpened, if you had have sharpened right off the back. Now I know you don't want to do that because, oh well, you're carving away at your bolster. But that's the game. That's what has to be done. So now, in order to get this knife performing properly again, I have to remove all of that steel now. And the nice thing about it, this was a substantial blade when it was purchased. Look at the length of this thing. Look at the depth here. But we need to remove all of this steel until the point where we can get away from a recurve and have one nice long profile where all points of the blade can contact a cutting board. Then this knife becomes as useful as it was in the beginning. Not quite as large, but just as useful. Now you might have a knife at home that this has happened to a lesser degree, but you can do this. We're going to use a belt grinder to expedite the process, but you don't have to do that. So we're going to look at the lowest point of recurve, and then we've got to address what to do. So this is about the lowest point right here. We kind of take a little dip, a little valley right about here. So we can either bring this up further and bring this up, or we can come back and do a slight rise at the heel. I'm thinking we're going to do something like this. And then we're still going to be a little high from this low right here. But we can work that in on the surface of the belt grinder and we'll start getting some shape. I think we need to bring this nose up a little bit as well. So we're getting into a wonky shape up there. You want that little bit of a belly. Okay, here we go. Here's my 2x72. We got a hard platen, so I'm just literally gonna grind this in like that. Now, as you can see, I've mostly removed that recurve, but look at this, and this is what you get. We have a huge bit of steel right here, very thick coming up here. I start to taper in up here, we're thick, so I've got to start profiling that down. I'm just going to go ahead and carve off a bit of this bolster here. We want that tapered in, see? It should follow a nice taper there that we can adapt to our stones. So we'll do that now. We're going to end up taking it in right up the side here in order to get a nice profile. We're looking good. Now I'll use a bit of surface conditioning just to blend all those facets together so it looks nice and clean. Now that's how it should be looking, wouldn't you say? You see, we've gotten rid of all that bolster, all that recurve. If you put this on a flat surface now, you shouldn't be able to see any light under that edge, providing you got a good flat surface. And you can look down your blade like this, just at a slight diagonal. It's the easiest way to detect whether you're starting to get that recurve on your knife. There's a very light handle restoration there to re-expose those brass pins and get rid of some of that punky wood on top. This is still a very solid handle. And you can see our bolster work there. And that will just patina in nicely, very quick on a carbon steel blade like this. And that looked nice. I've even brought it back a little more than I needed to. You can do that just to make sure it stays out of the way. But have a look there now. Quick edge check. Hoo! Oh, that's nice. Now, if you have a chef's knife with a bolster like this, what you want to be doing in your sharpening sessions is make sure you keep that bolster file down. You want to keep it back so that way you can sharpen right back to the very heel of your blade. You don't have any bolster lifting, kicking your knife edge up off the board. That way over time, once you file away, you're not beyond that bolster. That's the key, right? So you want to keep that work down, so then when your edge goes on, you're full contact. That's the ideal. So just be aware. Go check your knives now in the kitchen. Have a look down them. Do you have a recurve? If you do, your knives aren't performing properly. So hit that like button if you like this video or if you learned something. Subscribe like I asked you to do in the beginning if it's your first time here. Sharing this video is the very biggest help, but commenting, liking, all that stuff helps as well. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.